Hey everybody, welcome to Dad's Den of Pop Culture. 2 Mondays left of Alpha Flight Monday, issue 51, and next week we're going to be ending with issue 52 and 53. So let's get into what we're doing today. With Alpha Flight number 51, I remember picking this dude up at 7-Eleven way back when, and it is a pretty rad cover. So, let's pull these dudes out of the way here. You see a little corner's a little messed up because this is a really old comic, and well, I guess they're all old at this age, aren't they? Anyways. So issue 51, October of 1987. Oh, that's funny. We're going to be ending with November and December. Oh, wow. I like that. This is the new Alpha Flight. Bill Mantlo writer, some guy named Jim Lee as the penciler. I don't think he ever amounted to anything in comics. It's too bad. Whilce Portacio, inker, Janice Chang, letterer, Bob Sharon, colorist, Carl Potts, editor, Jim Shooter, editor-in-chief. Now, last issue, we basically saw the end of the original Alpha Flight. The switch from Byrne to Mantlo did not please everybody, and Mantlo's run did not please a lot of original Alpha Flight fans. That being said, we've turned a page onto what you might call Phase 3 of Alpha Flight with a somewhat new team. And that new team appears to be heavily under attack. Stanley presents friends in high places. Nice splash page. We have combat troops. We have helicopters. Operation Thunderbolt proceeds as planned. Tamarin Island is under assault by land, sea, and air. And the only resistance comes from a handful of so-called superheroes. Our weaponry is the most advanced. Our numbers are overwhelming. Despite their powers, they can't hold out for long. Wow. So Canada apparently has turned against Alpha Flight and is going to take them out. But super beings can be extremely uncertain types to base predictions on. So they're under attack, and Vindicator's like, we're going to go on the offensive. And Jeffries is like, whoa, wait, what about the kids? We got to protect the kids in Beta Flight. And Purple Girl's like, no, our island home is under attack from all sides. You can't safeguard Mannequin and me and still mount a resistance. Purple Girl, I promised your mom, if Alpha falls, Beta will be the next to go. Kara's right. Our only hope of saving any of our lives lies in hitting back hard. I only pray my order won't lead to any Alphan's death. And that's something she needs to worry about because we've seen a lot of that over the course of this series. So Sasquatch yells, you stick together, you two. Like glue, Sasquatch. Good luck, Alpha. So Alpha goes on the offensive, and we're going to see Heather, taking out one of their helicopters as Vindicator. We're going to see Box turns into a big war wheel. He's knocking stuff around, going after them by sea. We get Sasquatch, who looks like he's been hit with something here. Is he bleeding? Hard to say. But, he's ripping tanks apart, kind of Hulk style. And as they're doing this, we're getting some sort of catching up onto how we got here and who these people are. We get back to Beta Flight. Mannequin down. Oh, we've got to keep meeting like this. Kara, you're hit. But I thought, oh my gosh, soldiers. So the soldiers surround them, and she uses her power to take over them. And so they form a perimeter, and they're shooting their comrades. And these dudes up in a helicopter are like, okay, but does your power work against aircraft? Target sighted, missiles locked in. And boom. Yeah, wit! My arm, the pain. I think I'm going to die. Stop it. You're panicking. You know this is just that purple kid's power is transmitted by scent. So now we see the soldiers putting on gas masks so she can't control them. So she's like, dude, you have powers. Stop panicking. Oh, yeah. So he splits into the little protoplasm, the caveman, his normal self, and his future self. And his future self can teleport. So they teleport them smack dab into the middle of the enemy troops. I wish I'd thought of that. Come to think of it, I did. So they get into the middle of these troops. Obviously, the caveman, he knows what he's doing. He's just kicking butt. It's that guy up against the tree there. The blob is digesting people's uniforms. So we're learning a little bit more about the powers of his different selves. And so once again, he's teleporting tanks away. She's taking over people's minds. And then somebody gets the drop on Mannequin. And he manages to hit this log and knock the guy out. Because they keep saying, he's not completely helpless, even when he's not using his powers. Grabs the dude's gun, and he's having a good time. And Alpha, well, at least Box returns to where they were. And sure enough, the soldiers are running away. My bird's eye view reveals that the invasion force is in full flight all over the island. Then that means we've won. Nice piece of work there. Well, we're talking about Jim Lee. We know the guy can draw. We see them now through some kind of a, binocular thing. And here's Gary Cody. He's their liaison. And what we're going to learn is that this was a staged invasion. They were using, paint guns, etc. We also learned that Canada's military now is taking fashion tips from the Empire and Star Wars. Bold move. And so, ta-da, how do we do, Gary? Make your little war game real enough? I can honestly say that Alpha exceeded expectations, Vindicator. And so, congratulations. And we're going to get a lot of memory stuff back. She's remembering her husband's team that he put together. My Alpha flight is every bit the equal in power of the old, as I believe we've just demonstrated. Yes, I see. And this sort of bothers Gary Cody, because he's looking at the remnants here going, may heaven help us mere mortals. So they go back to Mansion Alpha, and they're going to kind of get out of their costumes and into their street clothes, so to speak. And Sasquatch is kind of teasing him for helping Kara. There's obviously a little bit of young love there between those two. We see Jeffries pop out of the box robot, and so he's like, "What, Mr. Jeffries? I'd been briefed about the death of Roger Box, and if you're taking over the box robot, but there are a lot of changes to get used to around here, cutie. Here, you dropped your cigarette case. Thank you, Sasquatch. Cutie? Gary, allow me to introduce Wanda Lankowski. Wanda? I don't recall Walter Lankowski having a sister. I don't. Ta. Heather, what else? I've been too busy to file a full report of the changes Alpha's undergone, Gary. But it's your duty to keep Ottawa informed. It's my duty to keep Alpha alive." So these two are going to race to the pool. Now, this is something I said that I kind of missed with the old Alpha flight, was the moment where they get to just relax, have a bit of fun, and not have some horrible tragedy befalling them. Well, we never got that. Well, anyways, we rarely got that with the old Alpha flight. Maybe we're going to get that with the new Alpha flight. Again, it's tough saying goodbye to the old team. I love those characters. But this is a point where they kind of brought in a new team, and it would go for quite a few more years with the new Alpha team. Some of the old characters were, of course, going to come back eventually. You know how that works in comic books. And so they're chatting about, he's kind of surprised it's gone so well because, she was a housewife and she's now become a superhero. And we're going to get a really long, 2 pages long, sort of summation of the creation of Alpha Flight under the other Prime Minister Trudeau. And Department H for Hudson was the spawning ground of the original Alpha Flight, Canada's premier super team. We also had Beta Flight, and we had Gamma Flight with a little bit of retcon with Mr. Jeffries. Maybe, they never, I don't know that they were ever super specific about that, whether he was really there or not. It was a bit of a change, though, in truth. And so, we're basically getting a little memory time here. They are turning a page. It makes sense to have a sort of slightly calmer issue without a major storyline going. And we have Gary remembering, Mac couldn't hold all his proteges together either. He lost Wolverine, his first and most dangerous recruit, while the bulk of his Beta and Gamma flights turned to the dark side, formed Omega Flight, and killed him. I'd be insane to think Heather could do any better, and I wouldn't be doing my job. What does that exactly mean? Well, Gary needs to know a little bit more about this new team. And so while everybody else is doing something, he inserts a RAIDer disk into their computer and accesses and copies all of their data. Now, this is sort of a betrayal of the team, but like I said, if I was a Canadian taxpayer, I would kind of want the government to be paying attention to the folks they're giving, billions of my dollars to. And so he's pondering this, surely there's no one who could fault us for desiring to keep watch on those with the power to destroy us. Is there? Gary, Heather, I just wanted to apologize for, he thinks he's kind of been caught maybe, for forgetting that you stood by us no matter which way the political winds blew, no matter the pressures brought to bear on you. It couldn't have been an easy job, and it must often have been a thankless one, defending a pack of superpowered freaks to bureaucrats who couldn't possibly understand. What the lady's trying to say is basically thanks. Thanks for being the best friend Alpha Flight's ever had. Thank you for being a friend. Ba-da-da-da. So, and of course, in his mind, he's going, oh, geez, I just kind of betrayed all of them. We also get a special announcement here at the bottom. In really, really, really small print to destroy my 52-year-old eyes. But what they're basically saying is, this is one of the comics that's going to be going ultimately to, I think, the more upscale format. And that's about the time you were getting that. I think Teen Titans of DC did the same thing. There were a few. So basically, Alpha Flight 50 is the introduction of the new team and the new direction. It's really sad what happened to the old team and how everything was revolved in a somewhat inconsistent and sometimes frustrating way. I felt like they kind of tried to pack a couple years worth of stories into maybe a year or maybe even less. They could have taken a little more time with it. But that's done. And this is the new Alpha Flight. And we're going to be looking at a couple more issues next week, sort of launching the new team on their way. And then at Dad's Den, we're going to be shifting Mondays to a review of Justice League International, another book that I collected pretty heavily back in the day. So let me know in the comments what you think of Alpha Flight number 51. Love to hear from you. If you enjoyed the video, please like, subscribe, share with a friend. Until next time, God bless everybody. Please be kind to one another. Have a little bit of fun. And I will see you again in Dad's Den of Pop Culture. Bye-bye.